a writer and card-carrying Clone Club member, and yeah! And I'm happy to say I have a special privilege. I bought the free pass to the Clone Club, so I'm able to see a bit more than what you just saw right now, and spoiler alert, the season's awesome. And let's have the cast out here to talk about it. First up, co-creator and director John Fawcett. Co-creator and writer Graham Manson. Everyone's favorite clone, Tatiana Maslany. Everyone's favorite brother, Jordan Gavaris. And everyone's favorite accidental killer, Christian Brun. And just a reminder, this season, season 4, begins on new night and time on BBC America, Thursdays at 10 o'clock, kicking off on April 14th at 10 p.m.
Nice.
All right.
Cheers. Cheers.
So as I teased, I've had a chance to see some of the season, and one of the things that you've said at various other places is you really thought about this season as a revisit to the past, exploring the past. And watching it, I felt like going back in time, and you sort of saw a cul-de-sac at one point on the street of Orphan Black, and you didn't go down that way then, but now you're going down that way, and suddenly it's like an enormous boulevard. That's sort of how I feel about this season. We're discovering the past is turning into this great piece of history we've left behind. So what were some of your ideas going into this season about revisiting the history of the show?
Well, I think John and I, as we moved through season 4 and as the show moves at this crazy pace, we're always going, oh, that went past too fast, and there was a bunch of things that we marked in our first season that were there's more story here. And when you're fortunate enough to have a show that runs 3 seasons, you've created your own mythology. So we were at the point where we decided we had enough now that we could go back, we could take a break, go back, and get that feel that John really wanted of the first season.
I think it was kind of important for us that at the end of season 3, we wanted to not end in a kind of, Kira, crazy, these kinds of, that kind of climax. We wanted to end in a different way. We wanted to end in a kind of place where it was we had answers. We felt some sense of safety and resolution. We kind of had a weird sort of happy ending, don't you think? It was kind of happy. And then so that we could kind of begin in a different fashion this year and explore some of the things that we set the table for in season 1.
For the cast, what was it like knowing that you were going to be, after all this history that you've had in the show, going back to revisit certain things that we haven't seen in a while or thought about in a while, going back to that period in your life and your characters' lives before, with so much history that's gone on now?
I think so much has happened. We've all done things in the past that may or may not come back to haunt us, and it's kind of inevitable that things will bite you in the butt, basically, on this show. So it's inevitable that we're going to go back to that place.
I love what you were saying about it. You had
not what you said.
No. I'm leaving.
Well, how many minutes in are we? How long? But I liked what you were saying at some point earlier today. You had Origins.
Origins. Yeah.
Oranges?
Oranges. I had an orange. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it felt like a return to like a search for the origin. I think that's always been the kind of driving thing, which is the who am I search. And I think we really start to kind of go back to that core mission in this season. Right. Yeah.
You certainly come back, as we saw in that clip there, just the idea of having that thing in your mouth. It gets back to some of the body horror that we saw in season 1, and throughout revisiting that idea of how these people, how the clones have been violated, their bodies have been violated really, and had stuff done to them that they wouldn't want.
Yeah.
So unless you want a worm in your mouth, I don't know if that. Well, some might.
Yeah, there's a real invasion this season, isn't there?
Yeah.
into bodies and into, yeah, inside.
Everyone likes a good nightmare. Every once in a while, you know?
One of the things we have heard every season, we always introduce a new clone, and there's a new clone that we're going to meet this season. What was sort of the process of inventing her, and what were sort of discussions between Tatiana and you and Graham and John in terms of building this season's new clone?
Well, you guys talked to me midway through the summer, I think, about MK, and we started to kind of spitball ideas, and you guys had a lot of kind of groundwork in terms of who she was. But we had rehearsal. Like, we got to sit in a room with Catherine Alexandri, who plays my clone double, who's the most amazing. And she and I got to improvise a bit in the character and sort of discover the voice and really delve into her a bit more than we normally get, I think, on the show, because usually it's like midway through the season.
Yeah, that's harder.
Surprise,
Yeah.
new person. But this was like, we had a process with her, which was really nice, yeah.
Yeah.
And now that you've built that trust, I mean, as a performer and writers, I mean, how does that, what sort of discussions are you free to have now when you create clones versus back in the beginning? Do you feel more assertive in saying how you want each clone to be and what kind of traits you want her to display?
It's always felt really collaborative. It's always felt like, and I feel like we've always kind of moved in the same direction in terms of what we're interested in exploring. We all kind of have the same dark sense of humor, and you know, and find the humanity of the clones interesting and contradictions. So it's always been like a really fun, easy process.
That process has always been really quite smooth, I find, and very like stimulating and exciting and collaborative. Are you okay?
Good to see you. I'm like just
into the
about
lights.
sneezed. It didn't happen. That was so frustrating.
Just look in the lights.
On the verge.
Stare into the lights. But yeah, with MK, it was you know, it was the same challenges as any class, except for you, of course. There's some, there's always, I guess, dialect things and accent things, but this was a particular accent that took quite a bit of work. And
Another fun part of the process is once we've had these preliminary conversations, Tat disappears into the trailer with her hair and makeup team and wardrobe, and she starts to, you know, we get these calls to come out and like find these characters like lounging, doing their thing.
She was like kind of, there was like sort of hiding next to cupboard. Yeah.
She's very elusive.
MK is.
MK is.
Yeah.
Not like Tony, who was like leaning on a truck with a pack of smokes rolled up in her sleeve.
Well, we always know about your history of creating playlists for characters too. So what's on MK's playlist?
MK is this band called Sophie, which is like very pop, but also it's like pop music, but the conventional parts of it pulled out. And Bjork, definitely, and Todd Terje.
All right. Run to iTunes now, everyone. It's time to get your playlist. Jordan, speaking of you, it's fair to say that we see newly assertive and independent Felix this season in a lot of ways. The 2 months of we come back after a 2-month time jump, and there is some he's changed and he's really seems to be on his own path this season. What was sort of your process discovering him this season?
It was fun playing with the idea of like, you know, Sarah's had this landmark revelation that she's related to S and Kendall, and it potentially holds the key to their cure, and it's this very important discovery, and they go off to Iceland, and he doesn't go with them, and I think it for him is like figuring out where he fits in to this family unit that's been his entire life, the thing that probably makes him happiest. And the thing that bonds he and Sarah more than anything, the fact that they have no home, no roots to speak of. Suddenly Sarah has origins and he's the only real orphan. And it was this idea of...
Aww, yeah. Everyone, aww.
The same reaction I get everywhere.
It's sad.
He's fine. But it was just this, for me anyways, it was the idea of, okay, where's my seat at the dinner table? How am I going to make space for myself to be a person outside of, you know, and the growing pains, like just the pains of figuring out who you are when your touchstone is taken from you. Like we all go through that stuff, you know, as you get older and you move away from home and et cetera, et cetera. But it was fun. It was fun sitting in that new dynamic with, you know, S and Sarah and everyone. I had the most fun in those scenes. Anytime I got to interact with those characters this season, it was just like, I had tons of fun.
When I'm upset with my family, I like to make art naked.
Autobiography.
And I can't unsee that, John. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Just saying.
Do you wear the same smock that I do?
I like to listen
You
to
wear
opera.
that smock.
The exact same one.
Listen to opera.
The exact same one.
Naked.
That's one thing the costume designer didn't have to buy. Just went to your closet.
Yeah, that's like everything is like there might be some cool art this year. There might be some interesting.
The angst will produce something.
Yeah.
Christian, now that Felix is sort of like sowing his own oats, and certainly it does seem like Donnie is becoming more of a becoming more of a part of the clone club and really working with working with a lot of different clones. He has Elena in his house now.
That's true. Helena as
Alison
a
depends on
roommate.
him more. Yeah, exactly.
Pregnant Helena as a roommate. Yeah, stuff's gonna happen.
Three's Company for the new
Three's
generation.
Company. Yeah.
What's been like to expand your clone horizons beyond Alison? How has it changed your working relationship with Tatiana as you've
It's
done?
really exciting. I mean, I've always wanted that. I think every season is the chance to spread out into Clone Club a little bit more and be a part of the gang, so to speak. And really the first chance to sort of see everybody together was that dinner party scene at the end of last season, which was wonderful. But this season, we definitely paired Donnie up with new people that he hasn't worked with before. And it's going to be so much fun. I mean, should I say who I'm working with?
Sure, there's only a limited amount who it pops.
Yeah, exactly. I get to do. I'll keep some of it under wraps. Why not? But in terms of like,
This is the under wraps sign.
yeah, yeah. Donnie gets to hang out with Cosima, which is, yeah, it's an odd pairing. Everything with Donnie is an odd pairing, I think. Yeah. And of course, he has some fun with Crystal as well. Crystal and Donnie, that's a weird mix.
Excellent. Are there things you discovered in terms of Tatiana's preparation that's different with each clone? Like things you hadn't noticed about her?
She
as a
just
performer
won't
before?
talk to me when she's in crystal mode. She just refuses to hang out with me. No, I'm just joking. No, it really threw me at first. I guess was working with Helena last season. It was just so strange to see my buddy Tat like all very different because I'm used to seeing her as Alison all the time. So it really threw me for a loop the first few times. But then you just have so much fun with Helena, and we do a lot of improv on set, and improving with Helena is just so ridiculous. So like, there's like so much footage of us before action is called. Like when we're making soap, just the stuff that we were saying as Helena and Donnie was just so out there.
Offensive.
Probably offensive. Yeah. There's just so many funny moments. I'm sure if you guys were to go through the dailies from season 3, which I'm sure you have all the time in the world to do, you would find some very odd stuff. Yeah.
My favorite little bit of blooper with Tat from last year is Tat sitting at the dinner table by herself, dressed as Elena. Because you have to shoot, because there's 4 people, obviously she could only do one part at a time. So
What?
She's out there sitting by herself at this dinner table, which is supposed to be 9 people there, and she couldn't stop laughing because I was making you eat the salt.
You were just like, more sugar, more sugar, more sugar, put more sugar on it. And I was like, okay. And my body was like failing me and my mind was snapped. And then I was laughing.
Because it was like the end of 2 days of shooting this
it was,
one scene.
It was in,
A mouthful of cold, sugary broccoli.
broccoli.
I've never seen you like so.
That
like,
only happens when I'm really screwed, like when I'm like very far off the edge.
Sanity.
my favorite.
Sanity,
It's
yeah.
my favorite time to hang out with you.
Yeah. You just kept the camera rolling too. You're like, don't cut.
No cut.
People
This
are
is
like,
gold.
should we help her? Is she okay?
She's just sitting at this big table, like by herself. It was so good. I love
It's
it.
the Lars von Trier scene that we have.
Yeah, exactly.
God, that was so funny.
One of the things we'll see revisited again this season is the neolutionists, and they've always been an interesting add-on to the universe because they're all about trying to change your body in ways that you might want. People, they offer the opportunity for people to do something in their bodies that they've always wanted to, but then the idea is that they're still controlled by that. So it still tells us that there's this idea of freedom, but to a point of what you can do to your body. So in terms of bringing them back this season, what was sort of the thought process going in to
Well, they were one of those elements of the show that, as we went past them in season 1, and past Aldous Leakey, we were like, Aldous Leakey is like the pop science version, and it's only like the recruitment level. So we knew that there was more above Leakey, and we needed to do some more world building before we could go back, and Sarah could go, back into the early days, of Club Neolution, and sort of open that can of worms again, because if Sarah's gonna like poke her finger in the eye at the top of the pyramid, she's got to go back and start there.
That is the weirdest analogy I've ever heard. Poke the eye.
good metaphor.
Look at the dollar bill in your pocket and try it. Yeah.
So if you could come with something to add on, if you were in Club Neolution, what do you think you would add to your body? A tail, or what sort of things would you want to do?
I'd probably just add more of a glute shelf onto my butt. Just really round it out a little bit more. Maybe the possibility for both cheeks to move separate of each other. Just to up the twerk game that Donnie's got going on. Yeah.
I'd add like a horse body. I'd be a centaur. Fact.
With like a unicorn.
Yeah, and a unicorn.
face.
Yeah. Just be a unicorn, basically. Yeah.
You're looking at me like
Yeah,
I
it's
got,
just
I got
you now.
nothing, man. I don't know, like
Big news.
Felix's body is perfect.
There we go.
Yeah.
Stop it. Do you know what I really want? I really want like aggressively long fingernails. like obscene.
Like starting to curl.
Yeah.
He wears sacks on his hands, remember? Guinness World Records.
Yeah, that's right.
That's what you got to do. You want to make a record, you got to be a sackcloth man.
That's true. You heard it here first.
Forget a social life.
See, these are all story ideas for you. So just keep it. Certainly, fans are going to be curious. One of the things we know, usually characters are characters are ahead of us in terms of figuring out. We know something they don't know right now, which is what happened to Delphine last season. How is that going to be? What are we going to hear about? Will they learn this season what's happening?
It was like clockwork. It was beautiful.
Right, yep. Will they learn this season something that that we know, or will we see some that secret come to light?
How about you, John?
This is, it's like one of those questions that you just, well,
I love it.
what do you think? What do you, I mean, listen, it was a horrifying thing that happened at the end of, especially considering the love that Graham and I both share for this relationship. Let alone you guys. I think what I could say about the occurrence of last season is that it has certainly affected a number of the characters. Certainly Cosima is in a state, and there are, it's not, there's mystery surrounding what happened. Why don't we leave it at that? And Cosima is having a very difficult time moving forward because she doesn't have answers.
Right.
Yeah. How's that?
Really good.
That's what I have to say.
Excellent.
That was really good.
Epic.
Well, speaking of
Took a
the
long
Cosima,
time to say it.
let's do a quick clone check-in. Let's talk about where Alison and Rachel and everyone is. And as you went into the season, what sort of again, where did you have them in your mind where they were after 2 months away? How did you sort of think of them? How they've spent those 2 months?
Well, Cosima, I think, has been in grief since everything happened, and when we see her again, it's sort of there's a real denial of the pain of it, and it kind of, blind driving forward, which is totally fake and impossible. Alison is Alison is also in great denial, but she's like school trustee and she's like doing her life and like trying to fit in clone business as well. Helena is just luxuriating in her body's changes.
Yeah.
The, like,
Embracing the
permission
hunger
to
within.
eat. Yeah, having a fridge.
Yeah. For the first time in her life,
Yeah.
she has a fridge.
Full access to all the eggs.
Our grocery bill has like skyrocketed.
Yeah. And cleaning bills as
Cleaning
well.
bills, yeah.
Right.
Who else? Rachel. Rachel is, of course, impaired and still trying to move past that and gain some answers as to where she is and how she can retrieve her power. And Sarah is sort of thrown right back into the thick of it. I mean, she can't stay far away and sort of peaceful. That's not her nature, and that's also not the nature of her responsibility to the mystery and to the clones. So yeah.
Right. There's very much a Godfather 3 vibe almost to the scene where she has to come back like, I just thought I was out, you pulled me back in,
Yeah.
sort of thing when
Yeah.
we see her after her return.
For
Do you, was there, for Kira, I mean, I feel so sorry for that poor girl who suddenly has her family back. She's
Yeah.
living in Iceland, which is a great place to live, as we all know, great place to raise kids, in a shack. And now suddenly she has to go back in, get thrown back into it too. I mean, at some point, is it just going to be too much for her?
Well, we do feel like a shift in her, I think, this season, which is really great, and I think very warranted, is a bit of an anger that Kira feels, because, she has gone through everything and been like this patient kind of adult in the whole situation, but she is a kid, no?
She's kind of witnessed a lot of traumatic stuff.
Yeah.
She's probably a bit screwed up.
Yeah, for sure, sure.
I wouldn't want to see her when she's like 17.
I think everybody on this show is a bit screwed up having what they've experienced over the past few
PTSD.
Yeah, a little
Yeah.
bit. Yeah.
But in this season, we actually deal with that. We tried to kind of, let those things be real for her.
Yeah.
Well, one of the things like throughout the show, speaking sort of about family and parenthood, last season I felt the Castor storyline was sort of an interesting idea of contrast with Leda clones of nature versus nurture. So the Castor clones are raised to be aggressive and warlike and uniform to a certain extent. And Leda clones have been given freedom to be different types and personalities, but they don't control their bodies. That seems to be the difference. It types into how they funnel male aggression versus apparently letting women explore themselves, but only to a point. They can't own themselves. So how do you think that is how does that inform how Sarah raises Kira? How does what she's learning sort of inform her sense of motherhood or parenting?
I think Sarah has a real deep need for freedom, and I think that extends to her parenting as well. I think there's something about, she's deeply attached to Kira and loves her beyond all words, but she also loves her freedom, and there's like a duality there that is a constant conflict for her, so and we get to explore that as well this season. I think her search for freedom and her search for like herself again in all of this and her identity in all of this, outside of like the clone identity, but just her own personal identity in this is something that we start to explore, and that was some of my favorite stuff this season. Yeah.
In general, the show, I have a son and a daughter, and the show has made me think a lot about how we raise kids and how we type them and things. I mean, how has it made you think about maybe your own childhood, or how has that informed your character? This is where I do the psychiatrist thing. It's like, tell me about your childhood.
Well, there's just something about like freedom and the like I was super supported to be whatever version of myself I wanted to be, and that's how I could become an actor. And some people aren't allowed that kind of freedom of expression. So I feel really lucky to have had that kind of platform. And I don't know what you want me to say, but I feel very
A deep, dark
lucky.
secret.
Yeah.
We clearly need to talk once a week. We'll keep
Yeah,
that.
Your parents are lovely. Like they're.
Yeah.
Dad's grandma came to set this.
I know.
My Oma
They
came to
hung-
set this
She
year.
hung out on set a lot.
Yeah,
And it was
she hung out
it
with
was
Crystal.
awesome.
A little German Oma.
But for the writers, I mean, how do you explore some of those themes too? I mean, is that something that you think about, the idea of gender and parenthood? How does that all factor into what you're?
Well, family and motherhood and sibling bonds and the relationships, that sort of dysfunctional family feeling was something that was always incredibly important to the show. You know, all the secrets that are buried in families, and you know, just the genetic sort of couplings and bonds that make a family that's just stuff that we can't seem to get away from. No matter how deep the plot gets, that's we always come back to that, and it's incredibly important thematically to the show.
Yeah, your non-biological family too. The family you choose as just as important as your biological family. Sometimes more.
I think there's something really interesting about Sarah, like the way people see Sarah as a mother is very interesting to me, because a lot of people will say she's a bad mom, and there's a real obsession with her being a bad mom, and I'm so I just don't understand how you define that in what, you know, there's such a strong need to name her as a bad mother, and I don't think she is that. You know, I think she's conflicted, and I think we all have doubt and conflict in our lives. And I think there's a real thing of like women have to behave a certain way or be like fully so devoted to their children they have no identity of their own in order to be like a good mom.
But I don't think that's just.
Drama.
I love what you said earlier about this sort of duality between wanting to be a great parent and wanting your freedom.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's necessarily, you know, as a dad, I know that's not necessary. That's not a gender thing.
No,
that's
totally.
Like
but
it's
I think
something that you just kind of like.
I think we allow for men to do it more so than we allow for women.
Maybe. But I certainly, when you said that, when you said that, but. I understood Sarah a bit better when you said that.
Yeah.
And I actually identified myself a little bit too. So.
Nice. Yeah. Well, there you go.
Yeah.
This psychotherapy hours are brought to you by July.
Also, like, God, you try contending with multiplicity and see how well you raise your child.
And people trying to kill you.
And people trying to kill you and getting like locked in boxes and.
Yeah.
Right. You're saying there's additional pressures going on.
Yeah.
Maybe. So obviously a lot of the season to be kept under wrap. But what can we be teased in terms of what other things that we can expect to see this season? Either familiar faces or a particular episode that people should really watch out for.
Well, everybody's got to watch out for the premiere, because we're all pretty excited about it, and I think some steam will come out of people's ears. So we're
in a good way.
Super excited about that.
Good steam.
Good
steam.
Like vape.
I don't know. We got lots of surprises this year. Lots of surprises. Some familiar faces returning in strange ways. What else, John?
Oh God, don't put me on.
Great new characters
Yeah,
as
really
well.
great.
Like,
Oh yeah.
killer new characters.
That we can't talk about.
Really?
Well, who?
They were like publicly.
Who? Talk
Joel?
about him.
We can talk about Joel, can't we?
Sure, yeah.
I mean, I can't say anything about his character. But we have some really cool character actors this year.
Really?
Inevitably we love our show, and then we come to things and you want to say stuff, and then you just like,
can't
say that.
But I feel like
and then people ask you questions, and
we can talk a little bit about like the vibe
Sure.
of this season, in that
Go on.
wait for it. So, well, Dyad, we know who Why am I talking with my hands so much? Dyad was very corporate, and we have the figurehead associated with Dyad. We understand that villainy. Now Neolution is anonymous. It's not a company, it's a concept. So my favorite part of this season, and one of my favorite things about the first episode and so much of what we investigate this season, is I just like the anonymity of the villain. I like that we don't know who's pulling the strings anymore. And there's that urgent paranoia that the first season had in Sarah trying to figure out who was Beth Childs, who are these women, what are my origins, where do I come from, what is all this? We go back to that track we laid in the first season, and it's just it's that like runaway freight train.
Okay, so many train references in the first episode.
Yeah, how many did I have there?
Like at least 2.
Yeah.
What were
In one
they?
sentence.
Runaway,
Track we laid.
Yeah.
I like trains.
My favorite, I think my favorite new thing that it's not really a spoiler at all, but my favorite new thing this year is seeing a baby bump on Helena, and then dressing Helena in Allison's clothes.
Allison/Donnie's clothes.
Like it's kind of my favorite new thing about season 4, because we were like couldn't wait until we could pass enough time in the show to have Helena visibly pregnant.
Yeah.
So that's something to get
Look
excited
out
about
for
right
it.
there, don't you think?
I really like this season, and seeing it more and more as we get into cutting these later episodes. It's Rachel's determined search to regain her dignity. It's amazing. It's amazing. You do a great job with it.
Oh, thanks. Thanks. You wrote it.
Mutual admiration. A quick parlor game I'd like to play before we, I think, turn it over to the audience. That would be what wouldn't some of the characters do? Now we know that Helena has a interesting appetites and might get more interesting as she's pregnant now. She's eating talking scorpions. She's eating tuna. Yes. So what wouldn't Helena eat out of these 3 things? Would she not eat week-old sushi, fried worms, or Bambi?
Bambi for sure would not eat Bambi. She'd be like, I think Bambi's her favorite movie of all time. She would definitely not eat Bambi.
I think she does.
She might skin Bambi and wear Bambi.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's
Never
different.
eat Bambi.
That is so different.
Forever.
Yeah.
Jordan, what wouldn't Felix paint? His phallus, Donnie's phallus, or Donnie's phallus with a Donald Trump wig on top?
First of all, of course he's painted his phallus like 850 times from multiple mirrored angles. And he couldn't resist the politicized Donnie phallus with the Donald Trump wig on.
Yes.
I think he just wouldn't go for the straight up Donnie Hendrix phallus,
Okay.
not because it's not amazing. But I think because like honestly, I just feel like that would be it for him. He'd be like, okay, I have to have Donnie. I can't have Donnie. Like I just can't go there. You know what I mean?
But for like an accurate painting of it, Donnie would have to pose nude.
Which he would do.
And
Oh, I'd love to see that.
well,
I can see that.
we get a season 5.
Season 5, there we go. Story points. Yeah. Okay, Christian, who wouldn't Donnie be kidnapped by? Rogue Mounties, Angry Beavers, or the cast of Hamilton.
Donnie would definitely, happily be kidnapped by the cast of Hamilton. 100%. He is not giving away that shot.
Boom.
Yeah.
Click boom. Sorry. Click boom.
Click, boom. He respects the Mounties, the RCMP, so he would not get, dragged off by them. But did you say Angry Beavers?
Angry Beavers.
Angry Beavers.
Nice beavers, maybe, but.
You know what? No. Okay. He would allow the RCMP. He follows the law. So he would allow the RCMP to take him off. But the Angry Beavers, they would not get one up on him. I'm sure he's gone camping like any good Canadian lad has. So he can fend off angry beavers, no problem.
Excellent. And Graham and John, I'll let you get in on the fun too. Who won't learn their lines on set? Tatiana, Jordan, or Christian?
Who won't learn them?
Yeah.
Yeah, do tell.
Well, everyone knows that I'm kind of just helping you guys all the time. Pretty much, okay, psst, act. I have to help them, all three of them.
Oh, okay.
We have earpieces. We give
I
us
don't know
line
how to
reading.
even answer this question.
Yeah.
They actually show up with their lines like in their heads. I don't know how actors do that. Maybe you want to tell your secret.
Well, buckle up. Sometimes we don't. Sometimes we say the lines, but then we say other lines that we just decide to say.
Yeah, there's a reason we improv so much.
I know.
Right.
Sometimes the lines come very late to set.
That's
Graham.
true.
Yeah, Graham.
That's very true.
Or sometimes
have
you
to
just
dance.
stick a camera on us and say, just keep going, and I just keep throwing out improvisations about Delphine's hair.
A lot of the time in the writers' room, we just go, don't worry about that. They'll figure it out. Just let them riff on something there. It'll be great. It'll wind up on a T-shirt. We let you guys improvise. It'll wind up on a T-shirt, don't you think?
We do sometimes go, well, how should we end this scene? We go, like, don't worry, they'll figure it out.
Make it work.
Just let them run on.
That's
Well,
what
they'll
happens
probably
late
find
in the
something.
season.
They're just like, let's get this over with. All right, let's turn it over to the audience. Any thoughts on how quickly and universally the Crystal character was embraced by the entire fandom?
Any thoughts on it?
Yep.
What do you mean? Oh, like thank you.
I've had a thought.
Thank you so much.
Two more. Speak like Chris, please. Please.
John loves it.
John really loves Crystal.
Actually, Jordan does a Crystal almost as good as Crystal.
Yeah, Jordan does a great Crystal.
I like impersonating all the clones in private. Or publicly.
Yeah, publicly all day today.
But Crystal started just quickly. Crystal started as she wasn't going to be a character.
No.
She was going. We showed up, the beginning of season 3, and we were just going to have this girl, kind of party girl, blonde clone that we weren't even going to record sound, and she was on a surveillance camera, getting on an elevator with Rudy. And then you showed up and started riffing in this, improvising in this voice.
Just doing Jenny Slate.
Just building.
Just doing publicity. It's totally stolen. It's all stolen.
And I called Graham and I was like, oh man, we gotta keep this girl. This girl has to live. And then she shows up in episode 8 and is just unbelievably awesome. I don't know.
There you go.
So we all fell in love with her.
We did.
Equally.
There you
Yeah.
go. Those are many thoughts on Crystal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jordan, have you finally met Taylor Swift?
That's a big old no.
Maybe she's here tonight. T-Swift, are you in the audience?
Dun, dun, dun,
Right.
dun,
I thought so. I heard her. She's here.
She's here. Okay,
She's
good.
here. I heard her.
Finally.
Squad goals will be achieved.
Yeah.
No, I have not. One day, but I feel like there are some people that you just projected so much stuff onto, so much stuff, that you just can't ever meet them because they are obviously, you've given them demigod status and they'll never live up to your expectations. Yeah, I know, it's a sad part of my life.
We're here for you.
We'll get through this together
Thank you.
tonight. Speaking of Donald Trump, if 2 clones were running for president, what would be their platforms and who would ultimately win?
Oh, Allison.
Allison would
yeah.
for sure win.
All right.
Sarah would not show up.
It would be
Swear on
Allison.
Crystal would think
Allison
she's
v.
campaigning
Rachel.
for something.
Yeah. I want to see Elena's political. It would just be
Babka cake for everyone.
kill
We'll have many
everybody.
foods.
Yeah. She might be a bit Trumpy, actually. Her ideas kind of
She'll build a
sound
wall
like
to keep
his
the food
ideas.
in.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
No.
And she's got the hair for it too. So
Yeah, exactly. Just shave
she's
off
Trump
the
in the
back.
wind, basically. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah.
Well, how would we fill out the clone cabinet? I guess would like Crystal be Secretary of Defense, or like how are we gonna do?
Crystal would be in charge of publicity.
It sounds like a very weird dream. It's like wake up in a cold sweat. Ooh, it's just a dream.
All right, to all the cast, what has been your favorite outfit to wear for your characters? We already know the smock, I think.
Go down.
Tidy blueies, baby.
Listen to that.
Because every other set of wardrobe that I've worn on the show was like raided from my stepfather's closet. Like at the end of every season, they're like, "We're doing a wardrobe sale. Come on down if you want to purchase some of your stuff." I'm like, "Nope, no, just give it back to my stepdad. He probably misses it." Yeah, we did a lot of underwear fittings for that as well. Thank you.
I wasn't.
There's nothing like trying on multiple different types of small underwear and
wasn't-
posing for
Are
photos to
there
be sent.
photographs? Because I feel like we could use them for references. For
Yeah, let's.
Yeah.
let's
We've got a few here.
Oh, we
actually.
brought a few.
Why don't
Okay,
we go
good.
to this?
Please.
We've got those, right?
Yeah.
We tried some different colors. Yeah, lots of different. The blue was good.
Yes.
I think that green kimono from season 1.
Yeah.
The one. Who wooed that?
Who didn't woo that?
Bring back the kimono, I say.
I'm game.
That was really funny. That when Vic hugged you, and like
That was like the first day of meeting everyone. You're like, here's yes, and this, and now we're gonna put you in this thong and show you to the world.
I think my favorite outfit's coming up this season, and it's a Helena outfit that I won't
yeah.
speak to, but it's pretty amazing.
Jeez. How about you guys? Come on, what outfits do you like to wear?
We're gonna see this Helena, and I know of which she speaks. Just put it this way, that will be a popular thing in San Diego
We've got a
this July.
Look, Cosima in Ukrainian outfits.
Oh, look.
Is anybody else dressed up? That's awesome.
We like to do these things on purpose.
Oh, nice. There's a Helena with the trucker. And she's pregnant. Who else? Anybody else?
That's amazing.
Oh, Allison.
We've got an Allison.
Nice.
Perfect. No Donnies. Great.
I think
No
probably
crystals?
one of my favorites was the bloody Helena Prolethean wedding dress.
Which one?
It's a classic.
Bloody Helena.
Oh, the wedding
Bloody
dress.
Helena weirdo
Yeah.
wedding
Oh,
dress.
so like Helena in the precinct
in the
when she was
precinct.
dressed as Beth.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
With the toque.
Yeah.
With all her hair jammed under
Yeah,
the
yeah.
toque when you ate the muffin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. That was gold.
And I like a number of Jordan's outfits.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I loved your season 1 long Withnell and I coat. I loved that coat.
Oh,
And,
Richard E. Grant coat?
And there's like without spoilering too much, Felix gets into a little sleuthing this year, a little help out Sarah with some sleuthing, and he knows how to dress to sleuth like no one else.
I like this this season too. I like how Sarah has evolved. The look of Sarah, and I really love the way it's got a really cool new vibe to Sarah this year. So that's exciting. Sorry, that's not an outfit exactly. It's a feeling.
It's a vibe.
What element of the show doesn't get the attention you think it deserves?
oh, VFX.
Yes. Good call. Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's one of those cases where it's done so well that people don't notice it at all.
Yeah.
And like it should be winning all the awards because it is so incredibly difficult and so much fun to work on. And I think Jeff Scott and his team do such a bang-up job with it. It's just it's incredible. And
They make it seem not scary. Like it could be so tremendously scary, but
They're always
he's just
calm.
like, nope, it's okay. It's okay. Like you broke our machine, but it's fine.
oh, the techno.
The only time it's scary is when it actually breaks down and we're like, okay, so the techno dolly is down for the next 10 hours. You know, you have a flight to catch. That's not going to be happening. That was my Joe.
Yeah.
There's a nice mix of practical and digital effects on the show too. It's always nice to see practical effects done really well, I think.
Yeah, thank
This
you.
season too, there's some really great effects.
Yeah.
That are pretty horrific.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I didn't like being in scenes with them. They were so gruesome. Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You-
The robot. That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
The killer robot.
Yeah.
And BB-8
Yeah.
shows up too.
Little beavers.
Baby.
Who would be the one to communicate with BB-8, I wonder? Who would be able to speak his language? Who would understand him?
Elena.
Elena? Yeah, all right, there you go. Go-to answer.
BB-8. Who's that? Have you not seen Star Wars?
Newsflash.
You would love it. It's so good.
BB-8 is so cute.
Baby, it's amazing.
What? What's going on?
Force Awakening? What? Force Awakening?
Jordan reads novels like this fat.
Jordan reads
Yeah, I read-
Nancy Drew.
Nancy Drew.
I forgot I sent you that photo.
Yeah.
Well, there is a novelization of Force Awakens, so you can go.
Yeah,
you can
yeah,
read
yeah.
that
There you go.
Okay.
if you want to start there.
I'm in the middle. I'm in like the middle of The Alchemist, which is like so. I know. I know. You're like what?
Weren't you reading that? Like, oh
Yeah,
no.
but I had no. I
that's
mean, I had time, but I didn't. Look, House of Cards came out. I don't know.
Good excuse. This is something that's been teased in some of the promo images. Can we know a little bit about the sheep masks? What's up with that? I know, but I'll let them tell. Go ahead.
The masks itself. We had a lot of debate about what the mask was going to be. Right.
About the sheep mask itself, or okay, I don't know what to say about that really. I mean,
It was your idea.
Can we say?
What do you, I don't know what to say about that exactly. I mean, it's part of.
It's a way to do a clone scene with only one tat.
That's
tell you
kind
the
of where
truth.
it came from. So that we could just stick the mask on Catherine, have a scene.
We never used it.
Well, we went through image after
Never did
image after
But that's how it started.
Oh right.
image after image, trying to figure out like, is it a crazy clown? Is it
Oh,
There's a lot of ideas.
a lot of
It's
different
also
ideas?
That thing of like masks, right? And sort of like the same person having wearing different masks and all of identity stuff.
It's metaphor.
It's a metaphor. Exactly.
Tatiana, how do you prepare for the clones impersonating other clones?
Those are really fun for me. I always start as the base of the character who is doing the impersonation. So if it's Sarah pretending to be Alison, I start with Sarah and I prep Sarah, and Sarah's how I'm moving and where I'm physically working from. And often in the rehearsal, or the blocking, I won't even do the other character. I'll just speak with Sarah's voice. And then when we roll, I'll see what comes out. I'll just like let it fly. So it's really fun and kind of embarrassing, and there's a lot of slip-ups and stuff that kind of live and exist, and I sort of just let them be. Yeah.
All right, it looks like we have a death match for scene here. Which scene is your favorite? The sisters dancing at Felix's or the dinner party with everyone? So basically, clone dance party versus clone dinner. Go.
Well, clone dinner, because I got to witness it and be there in it. That actually meant a lot to me because just the way the schedule worked out, that was the last scene that I shot in season 3. So that was like the close of the season for me, and it was such a fitting scene to work on for 2 mind-spinning days. But it was so much fun to see everybody in the cast, the clones and the auxiliary characters together, and it did have that ending to the season that sort of felt like this sense of security, like, okay, we're safe somewhat. And of course, no, we're not. But, you know, like it was, and it's very, very difficult. It's a miracle that we didn't spill wine over those 2 days. Like one person didn't knock over a wine glass and ruin everything. Like it was actually very difficult in terms of all the placement and the moving and timing of everything with the whole cast, not just like Tat, who's an expert at it at this point. It's all of us working as a team. So that was very special for all of us to be there together for that, I felt.
Yeah, I like the dinner party, I think, so much because of the interaction between, like, you and Kevin, and, like, Josh was there, and Maria and Jordan. Like, it was just not, and our awesome, like, doubles, like, you know, Catherine and Bailey and Heidi, who play the other clones when we're doing it. Like, everybody just showed up and was, like, so game, and we, like, improvised within a clone scene, and I don't think we've ever done that before.
No, that's crazy.
Yeah, somehow we figured that out.
That whole bit with the babka cake.
Yeah,
The bread.
like explaining what Bob
Is it meat bread?
meat bread.
Yeah.
Meat bread.
That's
Yeah.
all improvised, and it's
Yeah.
very difficult to improvise when you're shooting things in layers.
Yeah, it doesn't.
It
Like,
just
I don't know
doesn't
how
work.
it happened, but it just
I don't know
did.
how it
Here's
happened.
how it happened. You somehow remembered one of your characters that you played like 2 characters ago. Improv'd with in a take, and you improv'd with yourself 2 characters ago. That's what happened. That's insane.
Jordan, I don't think you weighed in. What's your clone dinner, clone dance
I
party?
mean, I liked the dinner. I loved the dinner because I got to do it with everybody. But the dance party was like that was the first thing that we ever, like the first time we were ever gonna do something like that. And it was this like, and what people didn't see after the dance party was the crew dance party, which was so much fun. And like, I think the first time we rehearsed the clone dance party, like we were just going through the motions of it kind of haphazardly, and the script supervisor Mel couldn't hold it together. She just burst into tears, and we were like, "What's going on?" She's like, "I'm just so happy to see them all together." Hasn't even happened
Really nice.
yet.
Yeah. That was nice.
There was something romantic about it.
And your character was the real, like a linchpin in that scene of how
Yeah.
you directed it. Right?
It was, because I wanted to see the real technical trick to that was wanting to see Felix touch and interact with as many of the girls as possible.
So many.
And it was kind of like one elaborate shot. We cut it up, but it's basically like where Jordan would be, you know, Felix would be dancing with Sarah and then kind of just get off camera just enough so that he could come back in to frame and interact with Alison in this part of the song, and then get out of frame again and get back in to dance with Sarah. Like, it was a really kind of neat thing that you got to be with all three, and it's, I like those sorts of technical challenges for our show, because it's what makes the characters, gives that added layer of believability where you just can't kind of see what's happening behind the scenes, and I don't know, I love that part, that just to get all those girls together for the first time. That was the very first time we got all those people together, and then get you to interact with them. I think it was really, really
It's
cool.
fun.
I thought that was really special.
It's fun when like the
Sorry.
what happened?
Nothing. I didn't do anything.
Donnie!
It's fun when the parameters to do something like spontaneous in a scene.
I'm not doing anything. I'm not doing anything.
Whatever. It's fun. No, please, Christian.
I literally was doing nothing.
It was me. I bumped my mic.
Oh, man.
So I know I don't have to ask these guys if we want to see a season 5. I know the answer is yes. How are we feeling on season 5? Are we feeling good about it?
We kind of have to finish season 4 first.
Oh,
though.
come on.
I
We
know.
really have to?
We're still kind of finishing episodes right now, so we got to kind of do that. And then, yes, we're excited to do season 5. Aren't we, team?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Excellent.
I wouldn't be clapping. I've heard plans. It's like a red wedding.
Oh, my God.
Clone wedding.
It's not like that.
It's not like a red wedding.
Some of the past seasons have been semi-serialized. Are you thinking of this one as a closed book ending? Or are we going to, can we tease a cliffhanger? What's sort of your thought process there?
In terms of the end of season 4? Mm-hmm. Oh, geez. Well, we do like our cliffhangers.
Okay.
I don't think we can really help ourselves.
Right.
Just give away the ending of the whole season.
Yeah, right. Why not?
That's about it.
Okay, that's a good cliffhanger to end on. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming out tonight. Film Club is over. Thank you to John Fawcett, Graham Manson, Tatiana, Jordan Navarez, Kristen Bloom for coming out. See you. 10 p.m.